It was never my intention, man, to get your bands clenching hard. But I get it, man. I am the henchman. God, I keep thinking I should have not said henchman. Should have said brav and then henchman. I don't like repeating man and man. But what was done was done. I like my song anyway. Welcome back. Thank you, baby. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to, oh my god, I almost said Bunny Igloo. That's another channel you should check out. But no, welcome back to Life Like Bunny. I am Bunny, the life that is soft. Today I am evidently back again with another video for you. Well, lovely people. Today's video is another sort of story time, but not really, but it's just an insight into how the other world lives, you know, how kids like me who went to boarding school live. So if you did not read the title, today's video is a little story time, or a little, I don't know, I'll say the title. Weird things that you needed to survive boarding school, especially boarding school in Africa, Uganda, Kampala, where I went to school. So, if you're new to the channel, thank you for clicking onto my face. I'm so glad I enticed you. Consider subscribing because that shit helps me out. And also, if you're an old subscriber, thank you. You're the sun that shines in my pussy. So anyway, today's video. If you're new to the channel, you probably do not know that I attended boarding school in Uganda before I got moved to the UK. And that was between the ages of 9 years old and 12 years old. I was in boarding school my whole life, and yeah, shit happened. I have a whole series or a whole playlist that you can watch that's up on my channel called Sticky's Stories, and most of them are just boarding school stories. I went blind in boarding school. I got bullied. I got hit so badly in boarding school. Like stories, all on the channel. Go watch to give you context for this. Anyway, today's video is basically for people who have gone to boarding school. You know what I'm talking about, especially if you went to boarding school in Uganda or in Africa. You know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, today we'll give you the insight in that. It's the video about 5 things. I think I wrote down 5 things you needed to survive in boarding school. And if you didn't have these things, you didn't survive, okay? You actually genuinely didn't survive. You probably got like taken back home or had to steal someone else's, and that's how you survived. But you have to have these things. They're a must have. The first thing, and I would like for you guys to comment down in the comment section and tell me whether you what is it called, agree about this. And this is sadly in chronological order. Yeah, not sadly. Yeah, this not in chronological order. Just go with it. First thing you needed was a bucket. You needed a bucket, and not just like any bucket. It was a specific type of bucket. It looked like a little jerry can, but you know, a bucket. I'll put a picture of the bucket and you see the type of bucket. And yeah, you needed a bucket because it was fucking essential. That bucket is how you showered yourself, because in Africa, or in my boarding school that we went to, we did not have showers installed. We just had like rooms that were like waterproof, and you just went there and shower. They didn't even have doors, so you had to like hang on your towel on top to like create some sort of privacy. But yeah, we had those rooms to shower through, and you got your bucket that was filled with water with a lid. If you didn't lose your lid, covered it, took that bucket to shower, and you used that bucket to shower, you used that bucket to wash your clothing, you used that bucket to save your life, because that bucket is how you kept clean. There's no washing laundry room that you can just go put your clothes in the machine. No, we had to hand wash that motherfucker. So you fucking needed a bucket. You can't not have a bucket, because you'd be dirty. And if you don't use someone else's bucket, people are like very stingy about it. Everyone's bucket is their bucket. You cannot just use it. And people honestly would resort to like burning and engraving their names or their initials in the bucket, because people would steal it in case they lost theirs somehow or it broke because it was just plastic. Yeah, a bucket was so fucking essential. And it's how you stored your water as well. Like if your jerrycan was full, you know what I mean? Or if you lost your jerrycan, your bucket becomes your second jerrycan. But also, like I said, if your jerrycan was full, you can get extra water and put it in the bucket, so you have extra water storage. The reason we needed extra water storage, guys, is because in this boarding school, little kids had to fetch their own water. Granted, we had a tap in the school compound and we didn't have to like walk miles or anything like that, but you still had to line up and carry and fetch the water all up and into your room. So yeah, that was very, very, very essential to have, was the bucket. Yeah, in fact, one of my videos in the story time is how I got hit here because somebody thought I was using their bucket and stuff, and it was a whole traumatizing shit. But yeah, buckets, important. Second thing that was important is Chipotle. I also add videos of all these things in the video as the video goes along. Chipotle, basically, you see in the video, is peanut paste. It's peanut paste. It's basically they get regular red, red peanuts. I don't know how to put it. They're red nuts. They're not like the regular cashews or like you can call them monkey nuts, but I think that's a very, very problematic name. But yeah, they're red and they're like the peanuts from Five Guys. Yes, those peanuts from Five Guys. You roast them, and after you've roasted them and they're like all cooked through, you grind them down, and then until the oil comes on top, and then that's edible on its own like that, and that's called Chipotle. And I think it mainly comes from northern Uganda and Sudan, mainly like southern Sudan. I don't know about North Sudan, but yeah, that's where it comes from mainly. So a lot of Sudanese students who came to our school, who came to the school, had Chipotle a lot, so they had the Chipotle monopoly there. But yeah, that was very essential, and the reason being is these people, the cooks we had, they did not flavor the fucking food. Like, they'll feed you posho with basically bean water. Like, yeah, that's why they fed you, and like you can't eat that. It's like basically had to digest like a huge chunk of like maize flour, just grind it into this glob thing with water. Like, it was inedible. So you know what you do? You get a peanut paste because it's already cooked, Chipotle, mixed it in that watery nonsense, and now you have peanut sauce with the posho, which is actually delectable and very, very delicious. So that's what we did. And the way you'd store the Chipotle would be in either a little 5-liter jerry can, or like it has to be in like a tubey container to keep it like really good for a really long time. Otherwise it will like spill everywhere. But yeah, that was very, very, very important, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to eat your food. I'll put some videos, some images and stuff on the food that we were being served, guys. You see, it's disgusting. But yeah, that was our life. But yeah, guys, so you needed Chipotle, and if you ran out, lucky, make a good friends. And that comes into my third thing you needed. You needed to have a good friend, because if you made friends with, for example, the Sudanese people, opportunistically, yes, they would help and give you some Chipotle, because honestly, for some reason, it seemed like they had an infinite Chipotle fountain that it never fucking ran out. I think it's because like, it's like, not to stereotype, but I think it's because it's like a culture thing for them. The way Matoke is a culture thing for the Baganda people, Chipotle I think was a culture thing or is a culture thing for them, so they just had infinite amounts, what looked like infinite amounts. So yeah, having a good friend in that way helps you with resources, and you can trade. So for example, if I had butter, Blue Band, I would give them Blue Band and they give me Chipotle, so we can trade, because you can add a little bit of Blue Band in your food or on your bread. Like, we had to genuinely live like it was prison. Yeah. So yeah, first 3 things you needed. You needed a bucket, you need Chipotle, and the next thing you need is a good friend, because that's how you survive. And also, like, for example, for me, I used to, like, a few times I escaped from boarding school. I made a story time about that. You need a friend to cover for you. Like, for example, my best friend at the time, she would cover for me, and if the matron was asking, she'd be like, here I am. Because at the end of the evening, they'll call out our names on the register in the dormitories to make sure we were all there. And your friend would have to cover for you and say you're there, even if you're not there. So you needed good friends. And also another thing a friend would help with is if you didn't have a bucket, they can borrow with the bucket, and you can borrow their bucket. So that was important. Also loneliness, you know what I mean? You need friends. Very, very important. Especially with me, who didn't get visited. Sometimes on visitation day, like, honestly, my friends will be the ones that would give me food. Because on visitation day, it's like they serve food, but they serve it extra late, because they anticipate parents to be coming with their home cooked foods and stuff. So we kids who didn't get visited like starved way more. So if your friend, they will give you some food. There you go. You needed a friend. Speaking of food, a fourth thing you needed to survive in boarding school was appetite. Okay, so by the way guys, I'll make a part 2 to this video when I come up with new things, because I think there's way more than just 5 things, but these are like the crucial essential things that I've deemed are very important. So next thing you needed was appetite. What's appetite? Let me just explain what appetite is. Maybe like the name is self-explanatory. Is something that is going to add appetization to your food and make it more appetizing. So what we called appetite was oil. Basically at home, you'd ask your parents to boil you up like a 3-liter bottle jerrycan of oil, and they'll cut a shit ton of onions in that oil and caramelize it in it until they're like basically black, like the onions turn black, and they like sink at the bottom of this really giant oil, and the oil gets flavored with onions. And that's what we called appetite, and we used that again alongside with the chipotle to flavor our foods. Because guys, like, we would starve otherwise. It was so essential that you find a way of digesting and eating this shit food. There was not any other way. So you needed things like that. So if your parents didn't make it for you, like me, who was fucking unlucky, but my grandmother used to like make certain things for me, because I remember one time my grandmother made appetite for me. I fucking love her, thank you. Yes. But yeah, but that was not on a regular basis, so I didn't regularly have it, which means I had to again rely on my friends to help me out. But appetite was so fucking good, like, because the food never got fried. You know what I mean? Beans need to get fried because beans love oil, and that's how they get juicy and like it gets so delicious. Like, I love beans, but they got me as a kid tricked into thinking I hate beans because of how bad they used to cook them. What the fuck, man? But you know, add a little bit of appetite, add chipotle, mix that shit around with your posho. Oof, I'm dreaming. I want to eat that right now. Like, they're making me want fucking boarding school food right now just because of how we used to fuck with our culinary skills as kids and make that shit edible. Otherwise you starve. Which makes me feel bad for the little kids who genuinely did not have the idea of doing that. There'll be kids as little as 3, 4, 5 years old at this place, guys. It was quite bad. Oh, fuck me. Most of it was literally trying to make food edible. Anyway, next and last thing I would say that was very crucial and essential, and I've kind of almost like mentioned it throughout this video, it's that jerrycan. You needed a jerrycan, and if you don't know what a jerrycan is, I'll put a picture on there. But you needed that because that's how you stored your water, and that's how you did anything. Is if you don't have water, you can't do nothing in boarding school. It's how you wash your clothes, like I've said. It's how you shower, like I've said. And also you use water to trade. So if you happen to have like 2 or 3 jerrycans, you can fill those with water. And when people are desperate in the morning and they don't have water, you could trade. You could be like, hey, I'll give you 1 jerrycan of water if you give me some chipotle. I'll give you 1 jerrycan of water if you give me some appetite. And we can trade things like that. Like, best of just like water, because if they're not crunch in the morning, they're gonna be late for their fucking class. They can't be waiting like 3 hours long for water. So guess what? They're going to have to trade some delicious chipotle for that water. And that's how it happens in boarding school, guys. So that's why jerrycans were so important. And I got lucky because I was working with the cafeteria guy at the time, and he would buy oil in like big 10-liter, 20-liter jerrycans, and I would ask him to give me those jerrycans, and I would scrub them really well inside, and I'll fill them with water by the side of my bed. So I would have like 4 or 5 water jerrycans ready. Like, I never had a water issue like that. And I would be trading water with people. That was another thing I did, is trade water. Sometimes I'd give it out for free if I was desperate, like they were desperate. But yeah, trading water, believe it or not, was very essential. Not trading water. The jerrycan was very essential because it made you trade water. Yes, if this sounds like prison, it's because it was. Like, I literally had to even escape under barbed wire. It is so not funny. And with that being said, That's it for today's video. Do not forget to check out the sponsor of this video, who is Sticky Bunny Weird. The link will be down below. Please go check out their music on Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, all platforms. There's music videos for songs like Self Love Junkie, Gelatin, Landmine, Nacho, Shit. Everything is available. Links down below. And do not forget to comment your thoughts. Did you go to boarding school? What happened when you were in boarding school? What essential things? Can you write down in the comment section 5 essential things that you needed in your boarding school? And also tell me, what country did you go to boarding school? Like, I went to Uganda. Which country did you go to? Because I would like to know the differences between boarding schools across the, across the globe. So let me know. I would like to know those things down below. Also, do not forget to eat pussy, suck dick, and everything in between. You're the sun that shines in my pussy. Mwah.